Welcome back, viewers. You are still tuned into Prime Live. As promised, we have some incredible conversations this evening, and I have an immense privilege to introduce an inspiring and incredible woman, Shahista Thokan, who is once again joining us on Prime Live, who is the founder of WISER, a dynamic organization that is dedicated to empowering women through networking, education, and inspiration. Today, we'll be discussing the upcoming event, a Spring Soiree, which promises to be an incredible gathering of women from all walks of life, and it's happening on the 1st of September, and it hopes to bring together like-minded individuals for a day of celebration, connection, as well as personal growth. Assalamu alaikum, Shahista. Welcome back to Prime Live.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you, and I know we all know the name WISER, and we all know what an incredible organization it is and the empowering platform that it provides. And just as we were speaking about in the introduction, is creating connection can be so important, and bringing together like-minded women can be such a powerful platform for empowerment. Can you tell us the inspiration behind the upcoming event, the Spring Soiree? What is the intention, and what was the inspiration for bringing up an incredible event like this?
So I think following from Women's Month, we needed more of a celebration. I think all ladies love to party and love to get together. So it was a perfect idea to have a spring celebration, because spring teaches us a lot. And I think coming from a coaching aspect into where I serve the WISER community, who are the revert ladies in the program that we run for entrepreneurs, spring is about resilience, it's about growth, it's about a renewal. And I think when we decided on this particular concept, it was to shy away from just celebrating women in a particular month and actually gravitating towards what next, what after Women's Month. And this is where the soiree was created. And as you said, it was grouping like-minded people, but also people who align to a cause, because the Spring Soiree has particular projects that we do as an annual fundraiser. So alhamdulillah, in that sense, I think it has taken off to become a calendar event, especially for us as WISER volunteers and members of WISER, and it's something we all look forward to.
I mean, I know a lot of our viewers at home are looking forward to the event as well, and I believe that the tickets are very limited, or they're almost out.
So alhamdulillah, we are sold out. We started pretty early in July, knowing definitely that we're going to have a competitive market for Women's Month. And as I said, if you're believing in a cause, so you will get a lot of events, but really what speaks to you, what resonates with you, and what you would like to gravitate towards in terms of your legacy and your charity. So we are 220 guests that we have sold tickets to. It is the capacity at the venue that we have hired, and inshallah maybe in later years we will grow, but for now this is what we can manage and cope. And we've had a really good response. It seems to have a following of the same people, so a very loyal group of corporate sponsors as well as our individuals in our community.
It's an incredibly beautiful initiative and an amazing way to celebrate women. And I think women go through so much and have done so much. They absolutely deserve a platform to be celebrated. 100%. And I love the analogy you brought in about a spring soiree and the idea of spring being an opportunity for rebirth and a renew. I think it's such an inspiring sentiment that even though you've been through a difficult time, or you might have been through a difficult time, and you may feel like everything inside you is finished and done with, spring is definitely, a beautiful concept to bring out this idea that there is an option for rebirth and there is an option to start anew. But something I want to talk about a little bit more is the incredible community organizations that WISER supports, and this event particularly is going to support. Can you talk us through these incredible organizations that the event is going to be supporting, or some of the projects and initiatives that it will be supporting?
Okay, so I'm really passionate about working with the revert community. I believe in hand-holding throughout their journeys. So that's something that the Dawah work has always needed funds for, because we always have situations where they reach out to us for charity. That's the first aspect, which is the Dawah aspect. The second aspect, which we've identified as a real need in the community in the past 12 months, is a ghusl facility. We've worked with other organizations in Malawi and in other areas, but this year in particular, we're focusing on our rural areas in Gauteng. So we've identified 3 facilities that need upgrade, repairs and maintenance for these projects, as well as masjids and madrasas who may be lacking in terms of their maintenance, of their carpets, of their painting, of their electricity and those type of services. And then finally back to where it goes into revert as into WISER as a revert initiative where we invest in our reverts. So what we've done is we've grown entrepreneurs over 12 months. We've bought stock for them. We've invested in business ideas. We've taught them the financial aspects of business. We've sent them back into their communities to sell, make profit, and try and get off zakat lists. And that's something I'm so incredibly passionate about. Like, I drive that to the end with WISER. I want people to become more self-sufficient, more independent, and happier in their situations. I see that we are in underprivileged communities here. A lot of people direct their funds overseas and internationally, and that's why WISER has created this niche for a local, solid platform for our community to reach out to us. Even though we are a small organization, we do big things, alhamdulillah.
No, I can absolutely attest to that. I mean, I've seen some of the incredible work that WISER has done, and I really commend you and your team on the incredible work you've been able to achieve. And I really commend the effort that you're putting into the revert community and making them feel welcome and giving them a support system and a structure to lean on and feel welcomed into Islam. And having a joyous and amazing experience is such an important thing, and community is such an important thing. So I love that you've worked so tirelessly to create that. I also love the organizations that you've chosen to support. What I also want to ask you, is there any opportunity for any of our viewers to contribute as well? If I know the tickets are already sold out and a lot of people are disappointed that they're not going to be able to attend, but it is supporting such incredible causes and initiatives. Are there any ways in which our viewers at home can actually still contribute to the causes, maybe perhaps via a donation? Please tell us more.
So definitely, we're always seeking sponsorships and donations, be it in monetary or in produce or products. Services we don't really need, because I have a team of 19 volunteers, alhamdulillah, who are genuinely invested in WISER. So when it comes to those donations and sponsors, they can contact us at our Instagram DM at WISER, or email me at wisercolab@gmail.com. My personal number is on Instagram as well. This is for the simple reason that we have a lot of corporates that do CSI projects and they direct it to the community. These communities not only fit the bill of being in impoverished areas or Black South Africans who were previously disadvantaged, they also fit the bill of real communities who are struggling to build facilities. And I'll give you a simple example. Last year I built a burial site in a rural area, and this is because they're heavily dependent on our Indian areas, our Indian communities, our Muslim organizations for these burial facilities. So every time that they have an incident or passing in their own communities, they have to wait for the process to serve them. So again, making these independent communities independent is something that I strive to achieve. And I was asked a very interesting question the other day, is shouldn't we build the facility with the hearse? So I think it's really just a starting point for us. There is a whole lot of things that we would love to do and we would love to help them with. But having that mourning area, that privilege of bathing your own community member, having that honor of doing the final rites for that particular person that was in your community and in your family, that is a privilege. And I think that is something that we don't recognize because we just feel like we've got the services, we can help them. It's about giving them independence. It's about teaching them to fish instead of giving them the fish. It's the same concept over and over again in a different form.
That was incredibly powerful what you've just said now, and it couldn't be truer. I think we speak so much about empowerment. We see all these different organizations doing various different outreach projects, various different projects that they're doing in communities. But what is that true sentiment? What is empowerment? And like you said, empowerment is creating independence and giving people the power to be able to take charge of their communities. As you said, being able to bury their own in their own community and being able to have access to these facilities, being able to access the necessary resources to be successful or to run a household. And that's the true meaning of empowerment, is being able to give power back to people so they can take care of themselves and do whatever they will with the power that you have given them. And that's the true meaning of that. I want to go back to the event. What can we expect from the event in terms of speakers, in terms of the program? Are you able to share any details with us?
Yes, of course. So it has been publicized on social media. I try to strike a fair balance between a little bit of education, Islamic education, as well as a fun event where we include like a fashion show and so on. So the designers that we have on board are for this year. It's Adab Wear, it's Black Rose, it's Exclusivity by CM, and it's Bling Happiness. And these are local brands, which again, I punt for everything local because we are a local charity. We should service the businesses in our areas. Our speakers are the same. We've got Appa Rihanna Shah, who's Bulbulia, who's a brand, and she, from a spiritual aspect, I've worked with her on several projects. She gets me, and I think she aligns very well with WISER. We've got Zini B as a speaker. We've got Sumaya Ibrahim as a speaker. I've got Sumaya Lunat as a speaker. They come with a fair amount of knowledge on resilience. They can share their stories on a platform which is safe, because our ladies in the community really just need to hear about how someone has overcome something rather than how well it's going. Because I think the reality and that we need to face is that every one of us has challenges, whether it's in a personal form, a financial form, or any other form in life, a parenting form as well, a spiritual form. And I think there's room for improvement. If we look onto people who have it all, or sort of portray an image of being able to, navigate life very easily, that's not a very fair assessment of what the reality of our communities are. And then we look at then the cause behind the WISER event, and we seek to align the two and say, look, we're developing by attending this function. We're listening to informative stories that are going to build our character, leave us with something after the event, but also in that same way, that ticket money is literally going to change a life. It's a very transparent process. I think the accountability, because we are a small organization as an NPC, you can see your funds being spent. So if you are dedicated to a certain project, there's no way I'm going to use that money elsewhere. It's very much ring-fenced, it's donor-directed, and that's the beauty of running these little organizations. And you'll notice, Nazia, there are so many that are coming up now. I mean, every other person has a network of people, a group of friends, and starting these NPCs. It's because it is so relevant in our communities, but also so effective that it's impacting lives, and we all have a fair share to service some part of the community. So I think developing that niche is super important.
I couldn't agree. I mean, if you have the opportunity to be able to serve community, if you are in a position of privilege to be able to serve your community, you absolutely should. And I couldn't agree more in terms of the fact that our NPOs, our NPCs are very much the gaps that are, the bridge that is able to actually bridge those gaps where government isn't always able to assist. And I think it's incredible in terms of the guests that you are having at the event. And I think the attendees are so lucky to be able to have an opportunity to speak to and to listen to some of these incredible stories, because like you said, we see all these empowered women on our social media platforms, and it's sometimes very difficult for us to be able to relate and to be able to see a success story. And I love that you've chosen speakers and women who are courageous enough to be vulnerable enough to share their journey and the difficulties in their journey. In closing, a short message from you. It is Women's Month. What is your message to women in South Africa?
I think just a general overall message as a philanthropist, but also a business owner, is to be your own cheerleader. I think whether it's asking someone to be a donor or running your business, support yourself, be confident enough, and don't put the expectation onto others. I think I've learned that as a hard lesson, where you would expect and anticipate support from those you know, but it's actually the people that you don't know that are your strongest well-wishers. And that has been liberating, because then the dependency, again, alhamdulillah, you become independent of an expectation from someone. So Women's Month, be your own cheerleader, believe in yourself, in your dreams, in your goals, and your capability, I think, as women is phenomenal. We can do everything. And I learned something really interesting the other day. The word woman is well-organized man, which was really brilliant because that's something that I attest to in my everyday life of multitasking with a huge family.
Oh, that's absolutely beautiful and very powerfully said. Shahista, thank you so much for joining us on Prime Live. It's always such a pleasure to have you joining us, and we really wish you all the best with the upcoming event as well as the WISER organization, and we look forward to seeing the amazing initiatives you will continue to do as well as the success of the event. It's always very empowering and very uplifting to speak to, especially on a Friday. I know we're all ready to go into the weekend, and this is such a beautiful way to do that. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure so much, and thank you for having me. It's very humbling that you say all these wonderful things. Just please keep us in your du'as, and inshallah our donors just have faith and confidence in us.
Ameen. Viewers at home, that is the incredible Shahista Thokan from the WISER organization. I know we're all disappointed there isn't enough tickets to be able to accommodate all of us, but that doesn't mean you cannot work with the WISER organization. They are such an incredible platform of women doing amazing things. Do reach out to them on their social media platforms, and remember, this event is all in support of some incredible initiatives to support communities and rid them of dependence. So please do support them as well. If you would like to make a donation, please do reach out to them as well. Remember, Shahista has given us some incredible words of wisdom for Women's Month. You are capable of absolutely anything, so use your platform in whichever way your heart desires. And remember, if you are in a place of privilege, let us use our privilege and our opportunity where we can to help those in need.